Are you being creative? I hope so. It adds so much to our lives, doesn't it? Just a moment of creation. Well, what do you think I've got here? These are the parts and pieces that I'm going to use to be finishing up my quilted owl wall hanging. This is the way I'm making the sashing. As you can see, I have a just irregular offcut of batting, and I'm keeping it these no bigger than try to be about an inch wide, because I have an overhang also. I'm using snippets, and then I'm overlaying the snippets with tulle or really fine netting. Can you see that? Really fine tulle or netting. And then I just do some hand stitching on that, and you'll see it again on the quilted piece. Now this I'm fixing to put on it, and I'm fixing to put my last section on, which is batting, and it'll be covered in this, and I'll show you how I've used that. All right, let's see here. Let me tame a piece of thread that needs to go in my thread thing. All right. Here's our quilt. All right, it's a little bit longer. It's 3 owls long. It has a panel on each side, and it has a panel going across the top. Okay. Let me bring you down so you can see what I've done here. I've just tacked or tied, however you want to say, that piece up at the top. Okay. You can see, you can see my sashing is that what I showed you just a minute ago. Just simply taking those pieces and sewing them. Then I'm putting them down on the long piece across and on the short pieces down. Okay. The other little piece I put here, and then I'm going to put the other one on the other side. So our wall hanging is going to be narrow and long, at least a little longer than it is wide. It's going to be a little wider than this because I have another strip to go here. All right, so it'll be a substantial piece, even though there's only 3 owls involved in this. Okay, now this is going along here. Let's see. Got some. Oh, that's blue dye. What am I doing? Okay, this is going to go along here. It's just a piece of watercolored trim, but I wanted to break up that piece of solid green. Okay, and yes, I got that one sewed on crooked. What was that? Do I really care? Absolutely not. Perfectly imperfect is perfect for me. When the binding goes on and everything gets ready, everything in here is a little wonky. This owl is a little higher than these owls. This one's going to be a little crooked. My sashing is all different sizes and pokes out and everywhere. Different color threads everywhere. It's perfectly imperfect, which is perfect for me. I love it. You know, I'm just so happy that I don't really have to think about being perfectly imperfect. It just happens a lot for me. Okay, so I have this little section of trim right here that I need to finish over stitching right here. So I'm going to do that. I have gray on my needle, and that's what I'm going to use, whatever's on my needle right now. I've used several colors, blues, pinks, golds on this so far. So a little gray won't hurt anything. And we will overcast this. I have trimmed the excess tulle back to the edge so that I don't have to worry about sewing through a lot of that getting in my way. I just kind of trimmed along the whatever the outline of the trim itself was. You can see that it meanders around. I just love it, and it's what a wonderful way to use up scraps. Make your own sashing. And it's very interesting. It's very easy. You can make it in little pieces and put it together, or you can make it a long piece, however you want to do it. Going to sew this, and we're going to drop down and sew that piece on the side. And when we do that, we'll be ready then for me to cover the batting with the fabric and tie that, and then get it attached. And you know I'm attaching them in the same way that I've attached all my quilts. You can see how I'm doing that. From the back side, I'm lacing them together. Let me get a sip of tea here. Hot, sweet chai latte. Love it, love it. When I was able to get around more and I could go to my local bookstore, which is Books A Million, that's what I would order in their little coffee shop. I'd get me some magazines and things to look at, and I'd order me a big old cup of hot chai latte, and I was happy for the next hour. I could just sit and look and dream and get inspired and look at all the beautiful craft books, sewing books, quilting books, all those different things. I just love that time. And my daughter's, she said, Mom, we need to do an outing. And I think I'm going to ask her if she'll take me to the bookstore, because she likes to go there too. And we both enjoy that. And I could walk enough with my walker to get inside to the table, and I could let her go collect me some books, and I could have a good time. And after staying in so long, I need the inspiration. I need to get out. I need to do something for myself. That's part of self-care. And so that's going to be on my agenda maybe in a week or two. I can do that. In fact, I have a doctor's appointment coming up on the 17th, which isn't very far away. And since I have to get out for that, it's a good time to do it, because with limited energy, you try to get things in together, So if I'm going to town, then that would be a good morning to do it. Do you like to do that? Like I said, our bookstore here has a coffee shop in it, so that's nice. You don't have to go anywhere else. Makes it nice to be able to just sit down with a book and look through it and see if you want to purchase it or not, or just maybe you're doing a little research or whatever you're doing. I usually end up buying some kind of book or magazine. That's usually where I get my Somerset magazines. I like buying those occasionally. They're kind of pricey, but I only buy a couple of them a year, and they do give me lots of inspiration and color inspiration, things like that. Sometimes pattern or compositional inspiration. They're beautiful books, beautiful craft books. These little prongy things there were connectors from one row to another, but I just like the look of them. If I take the time to sew them down, they're just another element that adds to the whole. It's kind of weird looking. Makes it look like a little critter of some kind. But I don't mind critters on my quilt as long as they don't move around. I was able to maneuver with of course, like I said, I'm always on my walker now. Maneuver with that in the kitchen, and I already had some chicken pot pies frozen in the freezer, so I got those out, and I like to put the foil around the edges so when I bake them, the edges don't get overly cooked. So I was able to stand long enough and get the foil around the edges, get that done. And also my husband had cut up a bag of apples. I was able to get those in a skillet and butter and brown sugar and cinnamon and fry those apples down in a skillet. We love fried apples. And so I was able to get that all started, which helped my husband a lot. And then he finished off the rest. As you saw when I got up this morning, I had flowers on the table. And because I got up late because I had a really bad night. And there were flowers on the table and a little veggie plate ready for lunch. And what a pleasant sight that was. How sweet of him to cut flowers and bring them into the house. He had the table already set and the veggies prepared. And could there be a better blessing in your older days than family members who care about you? I am blessed, and I appreciate them. My husband, my daughter are doing everything they can to make my life easier. So how can I not live it to the full? As full as I can. Oh, I'm not cheerful all the time. I had a little bit yesterday evening of a woe is me little session. I just wanted to sit and cry about all my woes. And I thought, I am not going to do that. But we're human, and that's what happens to us sometimes. But it doesn't mean we have to give in to it. Doesn't mean we have to buy the ticket, stay on the ride. We might have to make a station or two, but we can get off and start a new trip. So that's what I did. And then what happened? I got up this morning to flowers. It was just so pretty. Those were roses, just climbing kind of wild roses, and azaleas. Beautiful, beautiful azalea bush, which I have blooming in my backyard right now. I wish I'd get around better and I could take you out and show you what's happening out there. What's blooming right now seems to be in the backyard, and I can't walk that rough ground right now, but when the front on my porch, which is concrete, I can walk on it. When the front beds get active and pretty, I definitely will let you sit on my front porch with me, and we'll just take it all in and maybe stitch a little out there. Don't forget to check the community post for the Fabric Frenzy series that's going to begin. That video will be going up later this week. A couple of you have, I'm not sure it's who it is exactly, but if it was you, have bought the Slow Stitch Treasure Box from my Etsy shop that has all the small slow stitching elements. And I invite you that if you feel comfortable and you get your box and you've had time to look at it and you want to leave a review or a comment, you please do it on that community post. I'd like to know if you're enjoying your box. I know the most important thing to me when I'm creating is not the size or quantity of fabric I have in any one selection, but the vast variety. And as you see, that's what I use mostly, is small things, but I have a huge variety of them. And so that allows me to create to my heart's content. And that's how I put these boxes together, with small elements with a big variety, at least 150 different things, and really there's more in there than that, I think. I know there is, because the first box I counted everything and it was quite a bit more than 150, but because they're small elements, I can get a lot of variety. By small elements, I mean bits and bobs and swatches and offcuts and just things like that, because I'm not putting big bulky pieces of fabric in there, I can get a lot of stuff. But anyway, just want to let you know you're more than welcome if you have a comment of any kind, and please, an honest one. If you're not happy with it, say that too. You know, honesty helps everybody. But I try real hard to make it something that I myself would like to receive. All right. We have this part finished. Now we have to add our other layer down here. So first of all, I will be covering it like this one up here. I will cover it and then I will tie tack it, and then I will attach it. Then I will put the sashing on, and then I will put the binding on. Okay? I'm not far from being done with this one. So if you're working on something with your owls, let me know what you're doing, how you're coming along, how far are you? Okay? All right, let's put our little elements back. And, you know, there we go. And we'll be ready to work on this again in a little bit. All right. Okay, till next time, let's stay scrap happy.